Hey, my name is Jordan. In this video, we're going to go over a melodic style version of Arkansas Traveler in the key of D. We're going to pretty much be in G standard tuning, right? So no changes to strings 1 through 4, but the fifth string, the short string, will need to be capoed or spiked here at the 7th fret. I'll play through the tune, I'll talk through the tune, and we'll go over a few of the licks that you can check out in Tunefox also. So if you haven't done much with the melodic style in the key of D with this spiked 5th string, Arkansas Traveler is going to be a great place to start for you. It does require a pretty big stretch on the fretting hand, so we need to use good technique, that thumb behind the neck here, elbow relaxed inwards to get this stretch. Something that will help you learn this tune more efficiently and learn other tunes in the melodic style more efficiently as well is really learning and knowing your scale and your scale patterns really well. So many of the runs in this tune are just right out of the scale or scale patterns as it is in a lot of fiddle tunes. So make practicing the scales a part of your practice whenever you work on Arkansas Traveler. So maybe run through your scale or a few scale patterns a couple times before jumping into this tune, and maybe even after you're done working on the tune. Just make that part of your practice session. It will really help you improve faster and absorb the tune and understand it a little bit better. All right, so I'm going to play through this slowly so you can see what's going on with my pick hand and with my fretting hand. I'm going to start it off with some potatoes. Potatoes are just a common way to kick off an instrumental tune, especially an instrumental fiddle tune. If you don't know any potatoes in the key of D, we have those in Tunefox, so you can learn a few different variations. And there's short and long potatoes. I'm just going to play the short one and get us going here so you can hear what this tune sounds like. Starting at the beginning of the tune, right, I'm in 7th position right there, and I've only got the fretted notes here on the 7th fret and the 9th fret. So being in 7th position, using first finger for 7th fret and ring finger for the 9th makes the most sense here and is the easiest. And that's going to go for measures 1 through 3 of the A section. Now when we get to measure 4, probably best to just shift back 1 fret. And then we get that little melodic run, and then after that last open string in that melodic run, which is on the 2nd string, that's going to give us our split second to shift back here to 2nd position, where our first finger's at the 2nd fret, to finish off this single string run here. We just run out of real estate there on the banjo, and there's really no other way to play this phrase on the banjo. At least we can only play it using the single string style. We can't do it melodic style. For the B section, I'm really going to recommend that we get this big stretch here and just kind of stay in that position so we're not having to move around a lot. There's some spaces where we have open strings and we could move around, as I said. But to me, it ends up being more work that way, moving around a lot versus getting this big stretch going and just staying there. So I like to think of this as that we're in 6th position. And as you can see, I've got my thumb behind the neck, elbows relaxed in, and I'm just gonna reach back with that first finger, and that's gonna help me get that first finger there to the 5th fret and help me get that big stretch. And as I said, I'll just stay there for the entirety of the B part until we come to that ending lick, which is the same as the A part. But if you don't mind the extra shifting, go for it. So I'm going to play through it with an example of that here, just a little extra shifting to give my fret hand a break from that big stretch. Regardless of which way you try to do it, as I said, we're gonna have to shift for that last phrase there in the beat section. And use those open strings as time to make those shifts and to get those fingers prepared and where you need them before you need them there. You know, and I talked about the importance of learning those scales and those scale patterns. If you look here in the B section, it literally starts out with pretty much a descending scale pattern here. Right? We're going from this 5th string note back to that, right? And then we go from this 5th fret note back to it. Right? It's a straight scale pattern. So if you would have practiced your scales, and you should still do that, but it would just make this instantly recognizable, familiar, and easy, right? So that's the benefit of practicing those scales and those scale patterns. They will pop up in this melodic tune and others. In regards to your pick hand, just pay attention to the suggested pick hand fingerings in the tablature. Try to play on the tips of the picks for a little bit less pick noise. And then you might want to consider your point of attack, right? If we're closer to the bridge, we get a little bit brighter sound. Sometimes you might want that. If you want a little bit sweeter, darker, warmer sound, we get a little bit closer to the neck here. As you can see, I was kind of leaving fingers down. If I was releasing those individual fingers, that would sound quite different. Right, you can really hear a big difference, specifically kind of in that example, using that scale pattern of how releasing or not releasing will affect your sound. Remember to use those Tunefox tools to kind of divide and conquer, learn this thing a piece at a time, right? And just learn the 1st and 2nd phrases of each section and one of the 4th phrases, and you'll be pretty much good to go and ready to start trying to put it all together and playing in time with the Tunefox player. Make sure you play at a speed that's manageable and achievable for you. We got a lot of licks here to check out. Some of the melodic licks we'll borrow again from the scale and scale patterns. They'll just give you longer lines that give you a fuller sound and basically more notes. Some of them will show you how to play the same lines or patterns in different positions or in different ways. This is just going to help increase your awareness of the fretboard and your knowledge of your options when using the melodic style. Some of the single string licks show you how to play these melodic lines in the single string style. That's really good to be able to see how the melody moves. A lot of the times it's kind of a mystery as to what's happening in the melodic style, but when we play it in single string using all fretted notes and no open strings, it's a little bit easier to see kind of where the notes are moving up and down. And then we've got some Scruggs style stuff. You know, it's just always great to add in that bluegrass banjo sound and give a nice variety. Being able to blend these different picking styles can really help make you a more complete banjo player. One of the licks I'm going to suggest you check out is the melodic number 2 lick for measure 3. This one just adds in some pickup notes as it's moving into measure 4, that final phrase of the A section, and it also adds in an accent. So adding in those pickup notes as it moves into that next phrase is something that's really common in fiddle tunes. We kind of left that out to simplify it a little bit and make the phrases more distinct. But wanted to show you how to add it in here to get this different sound. And we're also adding in an accent there at the end of measure 3 there as well, and that's just going to help kind of give some forward momentum and excitement as we're moving in to that final phrase of the A section. All right, so this is like I said, the same as the first phrase usually. Here's what this thing usually sounds like in measure 3. Right? Here's what we're going to add in. Right? So it kind of walks up and is walking into that final phrase. Really nice, classic fiddle tune stuff here. Something else you may have noticed, shifted back a little bit earlier, right? Because we're adding in this extra note here at the 6th fret, walking up the scale that way before we go to that final phrase of the A section. And I'm accenting, which means I'm picking harder this note right here on the 7th fret D string. Right, that one right there is the one I'm accenting and picking a little bit harder. As I said, it just helps kind of move things forward and makes it a little bit more exciting. All right, I'm going to play just the A section one time and play this lick in context so you can see just how it changes the sound a little bit. Right, and I'm accenting that one note, but we can accent almost any note, and we can come up with different accent patterns. So I really want to kind of encourage you to do that. An easy thing to do is just to accent kind of the first note of every measure or the first note of every like descending scale pattern run. Right? Experiment with it. The options are literally endless, and we're not having to change any notes, right? We're just changing how we play the notes, and that can help us get different sounds. All right, remember to use your Tunefox tools and learn this in a way that's manageable and achievable for you. Try out some licks and make sure you know at least some basic backup. At least doing some basic vamping is going to get you in jam shape if you plan on playing with other people. The way we've got it written out, you'll basically have 4 kind of boom chucks per measure. And if you know your common vamping chords and vamping chord shapes, it's not going to be too hard to put something together here because we've got those chord letters above the tablature so you can see where the common chord changes happen at. And you'll be able to hear it too if you're practicing along with the Tunefox player, which is super important. All I'm doing is just using my root chord shapes. This root shape here at the 12th fret is your D. Root shape here at the 5th fret is your G, where my ring and pinky are, and root shape here at the 7th is your A. So you could use that for the whole song if you wanted to. And then if you click on those chord bubbles that are above the tablature, it will show you some alternate ways that you can play these chords using maybe first inversion shapes or even some bar shapes as well, second inversion shapes. All right, that's about all we have here for the melodic style version of Arkansas Traveler. I hope you all enjoy it. Keep picking and stay tuned.